Welcome everyone, my name is Jacob. Thank you for joining me. Access to fire is critical in the backcountry. I have a match here. It's technically waterproof. It's been soaking in some water and sure enough it lit. But what about some other fire starters that you might want to use in the backcountry now? Vaseline and cotton balls have been sort of a standby for a number of years, but you also have something like a wet fire. You have a quick fire or a fire flame, which is sold by a couple different names. And then you also have like starter logs. What I did was took some wet wood, lined each of these up, lit them, and looked at how long they stayed lit, each of them, and if they actually lit the wood or not. And also soaked these in water to see if they would relight themselves or light themselves. So I'm just I'm going to start with the Vaseline and cotton. Now this, I lit this, it stayed lit for 4 minutes and 50 seconds. It stayed lit the longest. If you think about the cost of something like this, 200 cotton balls and a jar of Vaseline is about a total of $12. You can make 200 Vaseline cotton balls. That's about 16 cents per unit. So by far the least expensive. Unfortunately though, after soaking in some water, it didn't really light well. It took a lot of effort. I mean, I eventually did get this to light. It did not light the wet sticks that I had put across it. Actually, none of the objects did light the wet wood. But I'm okay with that, at least for this little test. So, but it did really well, staying lit the longest at 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Coming in at number 2 would be the wet fire. Now the wet fire lit for about 4 minutes. It's about $1.65 a unit. It did not, of course, wet the wood. Soaking it in a cup of water for a minute, it did actually light very quickly. The flame with this and with the Vaseline cotton ball was very small, and you can probably see that on the video. It wasn't significant, and but it, the cotton ball and this are very comparative until they both get wet. The wet fire did really well. Now you have the quick fire or the fire flame. And what was interesting is that this stayed lit for 3 minutes and 47 seconds, but your flame, the output was very significant. Again, you can see that in the video. That obviously it's covered in plastic, so it lit perfectly fine. Getting wet, it's about $1.25 a unit, as compared to the wet fire being $1.65 and the cotton ball being 16 cents. And then lastly, the Pine Mountain Fire, the starter log. I just thought I'd try this just to see how it would work, just a section of it, and it actually never lit. So note to self, I'm not taking a starter log in the backcountry, but I just wanted to see for comparative sakes. So ultimately, I think of the three, of the Vaseline, cotton balls, the wet fire, and the quick fire or fire flame, all of these are about 2 ounces in weight. The quick fire or fire flame, again, it comes by several different names. It's water resistant on its own. It doesn't stay lit as long as the others, but the output is much more significant. And as you see, again, the flame is significant, and I can see if I had some dry tinder or even some lightly wet tinder, I could see how this would be helpful. So I just wanted to share this. I thought this was an interesting little experiment. Hope you find this helpful, and best of luck this season. All the best.